Hi, Long Island. We're Antigone Rising, and you're watching Rainbow's Edge TV.
It's Jim Pizzo, and here we are with another fabulous show. And you're going to enjoy this one because we've taken our time, we've gotten wonderful segments, and we also have a brand new member of the Rainbow's Edge team who I'd like to introduce you to. And his name is Mitchell Chow.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great,
Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to say thank you.
My great pleasure.
You don't understand, people. It's so hard being on camera with my glam gal pal Sharon, who needed to take a leave, and here I am doing all the interviews, and it's rough. It's really tough. And I'm so glad that you volunteered with our extraordinaire cameraman, Mike Coffey, to help us, especially in this show. You've did a couple of interviews in Queens.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's my great pleasure.
Well,
thank you.
Terrific. Now, one of the things I know you did, you went to an art show in Freeport.
Yes.
That's going to be on this show.
Yes.
What was your feeling about that? It was a gay and lesbian art show. What
Yes.
did you think the artists had great work, or what was your opinion?
My opinion for that art show is, it's really an eye-opening for me, and it gave me the, experience of feeling that, there's a lot of, gay and lesbian artists who have the passion of raising people's awareness for gay and lesbian here in New York State. So I'm really excited.
And I hear from the accent, you're not from America. You have come from?
I'm from Beijing, China.
Beijing, China. We are now global, kids, global.
Yes.
No, that's terrific. So you really were impressed with the artists at the art show then?
Yes, I'm very, very much pleased to go there.
And we had he did some interviews. You'll see that in an upcoming segment. One of the other things you did, Mike got us connected to the Queens Pride House.
Yes.
And you interviewed the executive director. How did that go?
I think it's really, really cool. And Mike took me there, and it's an honor for me to do the impromptu interview with the CEO of that nonprofit
And what did you think of the organization itself? Did you think it was something that's, I don't want to say the term like this, but it's not fly by night. It's definitely a solid organization in that community.
Right. It's very well organized, and I feel that they really have the passion of serving the gay and lesbian community in the Queens. I'm a Queens. I'm from
You're from Queens?
Yes.
Oh, good. So that's why this ties in beautifully. We're expanding on the island. Remember, here we have here's the big argument, kids. Is Queens part of Long Island or not? I say we're all part of the same land. Queens is part of Long Island, especially Eastern Queens meets Western Nassau. We're part of Long Island. Now, we have to stop being so segregationalist, because this is a nice lead-in, kids. We're here today at Long Island Pride Day, June 12th. The second Sunday every June, as we know, is Long Island Pride Day. And you and Mike went and filmed last week Queens Pride. Now, you've been here for a couple of years and everything. Have you been to the City Pride?
I did. Actually, last year I had a pleasure of participating in the gay parade in Manhattan.
Okay,
in New York.
And now you've seen Queens.
Yeah, I've seen Queens.
What do you think? Is Queens? I went to Queens many years ago because we marched for Long Island Pride. I think it's a well-run, fabulous event.
Yeah, I think it's great. The Queens Parade is part of the New York parade, and it shows people really participate in this gay and lesbian
celebrating their pride.
Yes.
Because what we're doing, kids, on this show, you're going to see, it's a nice segment. that's going to be beautifully edited by our extraordinary, one of our extraordinary editors, Danny Bonge. She's a sweetheart. She's doing the compilation of what Mike filmed for Queen's Pride and what we're going to film today at Long Island Pride. And we're going to do one nice segment, and then if we have time at the end of the show, if we need some space to fill, we're going to put another little segment in. And you know, she's going to do some cute editing tricks, and it's going to be good. So today, Mike is going to be filming, and if there's any interviews we can get in the park, you'll see them, you know, coming up. But I just want to say thank you for joining the Rainbow's Edge team.
My great pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kids, enjoy the show.
Enjoy.
Hey kids, this is Jimmy Pizzo here, and I have a major coup. We are backstage at Queen's Theatre in the Park, where we just witnessed one of the most phenomenal comedic acts around, Bruce Valanche. And as a major coup for our Rainbow's Edge listeners, we will be having an interview with Mr. Valanche himself. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. So kids, this is Jim Pizzo again, and I'm with Rainbow's Edge, as you know, but I have one of the major coups for our program. Mr. Bruce Valanche himself, comedian extraordinaire.
Thank you.
This show tonight was just spot on. I'm here in Queens, and I grew up in Greenwich Village, but I used to come out here to Queen's Theatre in the Park, and I did come for the World's Fair. So all your stuff that you were doing, everything, the crowd, which I'm saying to myself as I saw the crowd, mostly senior citizen Jews.
I know, I was
Let's
amazed.
be honest.
I was amazed.
But listen, you know what? I was amazed because it was like subscriber heaven, you know.
Yeah,
And this,
yeah.
but they were laughing, and they were getting it, and they were enjoying it, and that's mainly because of you, sir. Your timing is brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And I grew up watching all those pageants.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I get the paper and the pen, and I write them down, and I usually get them right.
See, I have written so much television, and I've been a part of so much show business that they watch and have seen that they know what I'm talking about. So when I do a show for this kind of a crowd.
Oh, absolutely, because who doesn't watch Miss America, Miss USA, Miss Universe, but they make them walk down. Mom,
my mother is.
Come on, Mom, get in. Come on,
in.
Mom. This is Bruce's mom, and if
My
you know the
mother.
true story, my alter ego, Priscilla, Mom, Bruce and I were separated at birth. You know that. We were. Everybody tells me that.
Well, I noticed that.
All right. But you have
But I didn't want to ask.
Of course not, because look, you had to give me up. We understand that. We know why.
Yeah,
It was Sophie's choice.
You did manage
I
it.
know,
But your
yeah.
son
It
is
was Sophie
brilliant.
Tucker's choice.
And he honored you tonight in the audience. He said hello to you, and you must be so proud of him.
I did.
He did.
Were you there? Were you in the ladies'
Was
room?
that good?
What?
No, I
You're so good?
One of the key things, our president and treasurer saw you in Hairspray. I unfortunately forgot. I was traveling. Are you intending to come back to Broadway? Yes, you
Being
are.
filmed, yes,
Yes,
look
you
that
said
way.
hi to the
I
viewers.
thought you saw my full face.
Are you
Sure.
planning to go back to Broadway? Are you planning to go back to Hairspray?
I may go back to Hairspray for something this summer, actually, but we haven't closed it yet.
Okay.
And it's, you know, I mean, if they bring Hairspray back, maybe. But,
Maybe.
You know, always, it's Harvey Firestein is like first in line.
Oh, first in line, I know, but Harvey's done enough. We want to see more of you.
You know, I'll do
we
it.
really
I'll
do.
come back.
They should write a show for you. That's what
I should write a show for
you. You should write a show for you. You write for everybody else.
And if you don't, I'll write it.
That's
There,
right.
you got it.
Your writing
All right.
is brilliant. Your comedic timing is brilliant. You have a
Yes.
tremendous career. What's in the hopper for Bruce Valanche?
I'm writing a book, actually,
Okay.
and I'm behind on it, so I got to do that.
Okay.
And a pilot, and I do this thing. We go around the country and do a show called Celebrity Autobiography, which, if it comes to your neighborhood, you should go see it. We read from the memoirs of famous people, and you know, Vanna White takes herself very seriously.
Oh, a little
And
too serious.
there's nothing quite as funny as reading from the wisdom of Vanna White.
But you could tell the untold story. Is it true what they say in Hollywood legend that Merv Griffin said, as long as she wants a job, Wheel of Fortune will be on. If she decides to leave, the show is going to end.
I have no
That's
idea.
what he put
Oh,
in his
really?
book,
No,
supposedly.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I've heard Merv say that about other people, but no women.
Jimmy Terrio, but we don't say much.
Merv Griffin.
Merv
He
Griffin.
owns Wheel. It's a long story.
It's a long story. We'll tell you after.
Yeah, you don't want to interrupt the flow of this.
But we want to say thank you because we know you're a busy man. We know you've just done a show and you want to unwind. But we want to say Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank
Yes.
you, thank you.
And we wish you well, Mr. Valanche.
Well,
Glad
just
you're here.
Thank you.
having him as my son is the best Mother's Day gift I have.
Absolutely, I could imagine.
Right.
We are so proud as Rainbow's Edge Cable Access Public Program that we are so thrilled to have somebody of the caliber of Mr. Bruce Valanche.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you
All right.
so much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Mwah!
The best thing I've had all day.
I want to thank you so much for taking this.
Okay.
This is Jimmy again, and I want to say that I'm here with not only Mr. Valanche, but now the opening act was the Bev Leslies.
That's
And
us.
you are?
Beth Sussman,
And you are?
Elaine Caswell.
And they have 3 men backing them up on drums, 2 guitars. Fantastic. If you ever get to New York City, do you have a website?
You can go to my website and see the band, ElaineCaswell.com, and you will see the Bev Leslies under Stuff.
And it was
STUFF.
Let me tell you, if you get to see them, you will not believe it. It was fantastic. Bev Leslie, why?
You know what? It means absolutely nothing.
Nothing to do with Beverly Leslie from Will and Grace.
Nothing. No. Who's Beverly Leslie?
He was the little gay guy that swore he wasn't gay.
Leslie Jordan.
Leslie
no,
Jordan.
No, it has
It was
nothing
his
to
character.
It
Okay.
literally has no meaning. It was a name that was given to
It was
me
totally good.
like 15 years ago
Okay.
by a friend of mine who I was subbing for at some club act. And he says, well, if you're going to do this one night, you have to have a club date name, 2 first names. I said, really? He says, Bev Leslie.
There you go.
And so I had this name for for this one engagement, and when Elaine and I put this band together, we said,
That's
we were like, what should we call ourselves?
And I said Elena
no
Maria,
idea.
Elena Maria,
Yeah.
Elena Maria,
So
and
we said, how about the Bev
Bev
Leslie?
Leslie.
You're breaking Leslie Jordan's heart.
I know, but let me
They're
tell you,
new.
individually, they've all, if you were to read their bios, they've all been famous. Who's in Memphis, somewhere, wrote for Bette Midler, musical director for Bette Midler.
And I would like to say I did all the True Colors tour with Cindy Lauper
There you
and Wesley
go.
O'Donnell.
So now, what I'm saying is individually they have careers, but together they're friggin' phenomenal.
Oh my
And
God.
opening up for
Thank
Mr.
you.
Valanche, who was phenomenal. It
Yes.
was one of the most
So
phenomenal
funny.
evenings Mike and I got to
Mwah.
witness.
We love
Okay,
you.
We
so-
squatted side stage.
That's it. So we want to say thank you,
Thank
and
you,
I
Chris.
give, and I want to give thanks to you 3 for
Thanks, Jimmy.
helping us out.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you, everybody, from Rainbow's Edge.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Cliff Teachout,
And I'm Gary Rosenberg.
and I came upon this idea for this lesbian, gay, transgendered, bisexual art show because when my partner and I, we had recently gone on a vacation to Washington, D.C., and we saw the Hide and Seek exhibit at the National Gallery. And we were very impressed with this exhibit.
And it inspired us to do another exhibit somewhere else.
Right, that would include something more local, not just on a national level, but I was thinking about my neighborhood more locally and how I wanted to familiarize our own community with the lesbian and gay and transgendered and bisexual people right here in Freeport and in Nassau County, which I think is so lacking a lesbian and gay community regarding, the laws here need to be improved. We don't have a community center out here, and the bars are few compared to the way things used to be. And I thought that it was a good idea in the sense that it's not a parade, it's not a political statement, it's just us being part of the community and saying we are part of you, we're artists, and we're part of your community, and we're brother and sisters together, all of us. Yes. In the book and at the art show at the National Gallery, we were witness to many different exhibits that exhibited various different artists.
There are many artists that people didn't really know were gay, and some of their art has been shown before, but nobody had really known that they were gay artists. Like Andrew Wyeth has a picture in the gallery of a man coming out of the forest, and it had really never been seen before. It had never been shown in any other gallery. There was art by Georgia O'Keeffe that was not common, and it was an astonishing experience. And we were reading the book of people's comments about the art, and everybody was just so excited to be there. It was an incredible experience, and it really did inspire us to do what we're doing today.
This was the Andrew Wyeth portrait of this young man just experiencing nature, and he's there naked. Andrew Wyeth saw this young man. He became one with whoever he was doing a portrait of, and that they said that this was a very sensual experience for him, and in that sense, it's a homoerotic painting. The artwork displays that in many ways we're all affected by lesbian, gay, and transgendered people, or even people who are heterosexual, who are seeing the world and embracing it through maybe a different perspective, maybe a homoerotic perspective, an appreciation for men of the male body, or women appreciating women for their body, and that it's all okay. It's all okay for each of us to experience this in our lives. We're all part of the world. We're all part of this experience. But there was one exhibit that was done of a man who was an artist who had displayed his lover in candy, because his lover had died from AIDS, and it was so he portrayed his lover in candy and encouraged.
The weight of the candy was the weight of his
lover who passed away. And it was very heart-wrenching, really, and to see how not just gay people but straight people who read this, like for the very first time, or experienced this artist, that they just sort of like, you saw them well up, that the experience of loss is a universal feeling amongst all people. We're honoring ourselves, we're honoring the gay community, we're honoring the transgendered community, but yet we're still so much like you and still so very much a part of you. We have a lot of different artists, and just to enjoy the show. And I'm hoping that next year I would like to get more different various organizations on Long Island to participate, like Pride for Youth and various other different, maybe like FEGS or other facilities, North Shore, who might have some lesbian, gay, or transgendered people, to encourage them to come out and express themselves, as I'm planning on having this show again next year. And I hope that this is a small microcosm of what I'd really like to see become a grander thing.
Hotline, McGruff here.
We got trouble. Wendell's getting picked on. Come on, give it.
Here's what you do. Step 1, walk over to Wendell. Step 2, put your arm around him.
But I barely knew him.
That's okay. Now, step 3, walk away together.
Let's go.
Don't take on a bully. Take off with your friends. And remember, friendship beats bullies every time. For more information, go to McGruff.org.
Hey kids, Priscilla Pride here, and I'm here on the parade route for the 21st annual Long Island Pride Parade. It is the second Sunday of June. As we know, my alter ego Jim Pizzo got Frank Petrone and Legislator Cooper to make the proclamation many moons ago that the second Sunday of every June is Long Island Pride Day. Our cameraman and our new volunteer, Mitchell, are going to be along the parade route filming. I'm going to be sitting here on this bench because Priscilla's an old tired hag. It's a little gray, it's a little cool. I should have brought my shawl. Oh my Lord, it's freezing. But it'll be sunny and warm later when it happens. The segment you're about to see is our Pride segment. It's got Queens and Long Island Pride. Next year, hopefully, we'll include Brooklyn and the Bronx. Ultimately, we'd like to put in New York City's Heritage of Pride, and of course, the ever-fabulous Cherry Grove Pride at the end of the month. We're building to that. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and happy Pride. Hey kids, the next segment you're going to see is going to be kicked off by Governor Cuomo's minute 30-second spot that he put onto YouTube, and it was aired on CNN. His plea, keeping his campaign promise for the Assembly and the Senate to pass the same-sex marriage bill. And it did get passed on Friday, June 24th. Right after that, you're going to see Barry Jones Capola, our fearless leader, talking with Joanna Salmonson, who is with Empire State Pride Agenda, and also the 2009 Outlook Magazine Community Service Award winner for Activist of the Year. They'll be talking about the same-sex marriage bill, coupled with gender and other items that the Empire State Pride Agenda has on their agenda. So, enjoy.
Hello, I'm Governor Andrew Cuomo. New Yorkers have a proud progressive history as national leaders towards greater equality and respect for all. From the fight for women's suffrage to the struggle for civil rights, New Yorkers have been on the right side of history. Indeed, New Yorkers have made history. But on the issue of marriage equality, New York has fallen behind. Same-sex couples are denied rights that other New Yorkers take for granted. Same-sex couples are denied over 1,000 federal and 700 state rights that are afforded to millions of others. Rights as basic as being able to visit the person you love in the emergency room, the opportunity to protect and care for one another, the freedom to express their lifelong commitment, and the basic dignity of having that relationship recognized by the state they call home. This is a matter of fairness and equality. It is not a question of religion or culture, but a question of legal rights and government policy. When it comes to fighting for what's right, New Yorkers wrote the book, and marriage equality is the next chapter of our civil rights story. It's hard to imagine today, but at one time it was illegal for an interracial couple to marry in this country. We have come a long way, and now it is time to go even further. So please, join me in supporting marriage equality, equality for all New Yorkers. Contact your state legislators and urge them to vote yes on marriage equality. Thank you.
I'm with Joanna Salmonson from Empire State Pride Agenda. Joanna, welcome. And I apologize for taking so long for this interview. I know it was supposed to be a year ago, but I've been a little flaky. So Joanna, keep us what's going on.
Well, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. I'm from the Pride Agenda. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary this year. And adding to that celebration is the passage of the marriage equality bill, which happened on June 24th, which we are obviously ecstatic about.
Of course.
It passed in a bipartisan vote of 33 to 29, which was quite a bit of work over the last several years in making this happen.
It certainly is. So what's next? What, I mean, we need national, I don't want to be greedy, but before I die, and I'm pretty old, I would like it to be national. I'd like it to be, is there any, what's the next, what was it, gender?
Gender is a bill that protects transgender people from discrimination.
Okay.
What we're working on in terms of marriage is, we're a statewide organization, but our hope is to go beyond our own borders and make this a reality for people in states outside of New York.
Okay.
The hope being to create enough momentum that the federal government begins to recognize marriages as well. So not only states, but the federal government and all the rights and responsibilities, over 2,000 of them, that come from both the federal government and the state government will be bestowed upon people in New York.
Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about Empire State Pride Agenda, because I'm a little illiterate when it comes to things. When was it formed? How long has it been around?
We've been around for 20 years. Started as a very small organization, mostly put together to advocate for LGBT candidates in office.
Okay.
And from there, it's grown into the largest statewide advocacy and civil rights organization representing LGBT people in New York.
Very good. We'll be right back.
Fruit. What a tasty treat. Fruits packed with potassium and other nutrients can help keep your heart pumping strong during the game. And they give you energy back so you can take on the next activity. Can your food do that? Run, throw, think, eat better. Find out more at smallstep.gov.
I'm back with Joanna Samuelson from Empire State Pride Agenda. So, tell us more about Agenda.
Sure. So there are a couple of things that Pride Agenda works on. We're a multi-issue advocacy organization. So in addition to marriage equality, we've been fighting very hard for Agenda, or the Gender Expression Non-Discrimination Act. This is a bill that protects transgender people from losing housing, being fired from their job, being denied services because of who they are. And what it seeks to do is to amend existing human rights legislation so that transgender people are protected, as are LGBT people, rather. We want to add the T. That's one of our goals. We're also working very hard to make sure the Dignity for All Students Act is implemented. And that was passed last year, and that protects young people from being bullied for a number of reasons, one of which is sexual orientation and gender identity. So we want to make sure schools are in fact following those rules and regulations.
Very good.
We also work to ensure that there is proper funding for health and human services for our community.
Good, very good. What about fundraising? You guys have anything coming up?
We do, in fact, on July 9th, we have our Hamptons Tea Dance, which is our big Long Island fundraiser. Yes. Any information about that could be found on our website.
And what is your website again?
prideagenda.org. Anyone interested in volunteering for any of the things that we're involved in, they can go there also. I do want to just mention also we're working very, very hard in the 2012 elections to ensure that our friends remain in office, those who've supported us, who support marriage equality, who support protections to transgender people, as well as protections for our young people.
Very good. Joanna, I really appreciate you coming here. I'd like to have you back again in the future.
Absolutely.
But, you know, again, you're very inspiring, and the work that you and Pride Agenda have done is really magnificent. I thank you for that. And we'll see you again.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Global warming. Some say irreversible consequences are 30 years away. 30 years? That won't affect me.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Last couple of weeks actually, have been pretty exciting in Albany with everything going on. It was quite a sight to see, to be a part of that. And David got this exactly right when he said the whole, and you could see it. You could see it all last week, from morning, noon, and night. You could hear the chants from the other side of the building, people on both sides of the issue. This was entirely a grassroots effort. Yes, you have to say that Governor Cuomo this year took the leadership role, and in all fairness, if it was not for him, this would never have happened. So we have to recognize that too, and we can't give him enough credit.
Right.
And obviously the Senate, for those who previously didn't support it in 2009 when it was voted on and voted down, in a vote that wasn't all that close. I would be remiss if I didn't point out that the Assembly has passed it now 4 times, the first being in 2007, 4 years ago, twice in 2009. It was the second time we thought maybe the Senate would do it, and in the end they didn't. And then again this year. So there have been a lot of people over the years, but I'll give you one just interesting, and I know you want to move on to other things, but just one interesting note on the crowds and the whole hubbub last week. And the point that this really was a grassroots effort. When all was said and done and the vote was taken and there was the tremendous cheer and all the people with Kill the Bill signs left very quickly and everyone else was left to celebrate in the hallways, there was a chant that went up, which was, "This is what democracy looks like."
Yeah.
And you know what? That nailed it. I mean, that said it perfectly. How this whole issue has changed over the years, how public sentiment on the issue has changed over the years, and therefore I think how people in office saw it over the years, and perhaps some who maybe really wanted to be supportive years ago, but weren't quite sure what that would mean for them at home, found the strength from you, from people who said, yeah, it's all right, you know, we're with you, and we want this to happen. And so in every sense of the word, you know, all due credit to Governor Cuomo, back to Governor Spitzer, who you have to remember put in a program bill too.
Yeah.
Didn't stick around long enough to see it through, but you know, he was all for it. And a lot of people over the years have and some of them have put their necks on the line, politically or otherwise, to be supportive. And this is what democracy looks like, finally, the understanding that this is something that needed to happen. So congratulations to all of you, more than to anyone else, because this is the point that I want to make, that your voice does count, that when you participate and become a part of the process, you can make a difference, no matter what the issue is. You know, that's something that I hope we all take away from this going forward. So to all of you, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I am delighted. I wouldn't have missed it. Thank you for the kind invitation, and I'm happy to see my colleague, Mr. Sweeney, here. You know, it was wonderful. My two sons, who are old sons, they're older than I am, I said, Mom, you know, I called them and I said, you know, can you believe it? Session's over. And he goes, Mom, you, and you know, you take it for granted because you're so much a part of it. That you're a part of history. And I have to tell you, that's how I'm going to remember this. I have to say it. I didn't struggle. Oh, what should I do? I need more exceptions. Oh my God. Please, no Knights of Columbus. But I did see a great quote. I'm going to close with this quote, and it really, and think of us when we fight next year to save lives. Why is it, and this is from Ernest Gaines, an African-American writer from America, contemporary, why is it that we in the United States are more comfortable seeing two men holding guns than holding hands?
Right on.
All those years, you would call me and I would come and you would ask with a certain skepticism, are you going to be there for us? Are you sure? And the answer was yes. And now the answer is yes. It really feels like we've turned a corner in our society here, at least in New York, and hopefully beyond our borders. Hopefully our whole nation will take note that this great state has done the right thing, the honorable thing, the only civil thing to do, really, the only civilized thing to do. And hopefully with a major state having set this expectation, the dialogue on the national scene will be more vigorous, and we will turn another corner. So I look forward to being a part of that. I know all of you have been a part of that, and I just want to salute all of you. Thank you for being there, for equality, for a sense of what is right, and for the courage and perseverance that each of you have demonstrated. And again, as Tiny Tim said, God bless us, everyone. Thank you all.
Well, let's continue to fight together. It is just such an, you know, I say it's not only an honor to be a New Yorker right now, and so happy to be a New Yorker. I am so proud to be a member of the Long Island gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community. You know, and it's just, it's really special, I think, you know, because of the way that we have to fight so hard, not only with our political landscape, you know, with so many folks not voting for marriage equality, but in terms of where we live, we're so far spread out from one another. But when we come together, it's all like we're in the same town, and that's real important. And so, you know, I salute you. You know, it's been an incredible victory for this. We march on, we move on to a better world, and we move on to continue to making a better world. So thank you. Let's enjoy. Let's celebrate. And thank you. Thank you.
Why do I call it a funny bone? Why can't penguins fly? I can see something. Can we go to the moon on vacation?
If you think it's tough answering these questions, imagine the ones you'll get if your child is diagnosed with cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
Hi everybody, my name is Mitchell. I'm with Rainbow Edge, and here with us is Mr. Peter, and he is the owner of Queen's Pride House. So it's an honor for us to be here, Mr. Peter. So we're gonna ask you a few questions about your organizations. Okay?
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Well, when was the Queen's Pride House was initially established?
Queen's Pride House was established in 1997, and we've been going strong ever since. We've had 2 homes. This is our second, and we needed a much bigger facility, and so we moved here, I believe, in 2005. And it started with a small group of activists, and this is where we are today.
Okay, cool. What are some of the defining needs for you to establish these nonprofit organizations?
Well, the biggest need was that there were no LGBT services in Queens. And so activists, again, got together. They said we needed our own community center, developed it. It started out small, like everything does, and we've grown now into a social service agency where we provide comprehensive services to the LGBT community. Our staff we have myself as the executive director. We have Juan Almonte, who is our fiscal assistant. Charles Ober is our chief financial officer. He's unpaid because he's also the board treasurer. We have Jennifer, who's my executive assistant. Luz, who is our volunteer coordinator. Kevin Whaley is our special events coordinator. Leanna Newman. We have social media coordinator. We do a great deal of social media. And Refugio Ramos, who is our groups facilitator. And then we have several interns from various colleges and universities here in New York City. And then we also have Rosa, who is a licensed clinical social worker on staff. Our staff is made up of paid and unpaid staff, but they give full-time hours. And then we have a regular volunteer force who, since February, we've increased volunteer hours 250%. Our volunteers are crucial to this organization. They're here to give whatever time and talent they have. We have a tremendous workforce. When you guys came in, those are volunteers. And they man the front desk, help plan social events. They do data entry, really whatever services. We're currently doing a beautification. So this weekend, all my staff and my volunteers will be here finishing up painting. So they're really there and committed to the mission of Queen's Pride House.
Wonderful. One of our purpose of visit your organization is to raise the awareness among the public about the gay and lesbian community here in New York City. So we really would like to know what are some of the interesting programs that your centers offer to public right now.
Okay. The center here at Queen's Pride House, we provide several groups. Men's group, we have 2 different transgender groups. We offer groups in English and in Spanish. We have HIV testing, we have counseling services, we provide advocacy. We deal with a lot of individuals who are seeking asylum because of their LGBT and they can't go home to their home countries. So we will work with them in getting them pro bono attorneys. We have a health information and referrals system and program. We provide public forums. We're doing a lot of different kinds of counseling. And then we also have 2 groups that aren't LGBT specific. That's the 9/11 workers group, which is rather large. And then we also have an HIV support group also for those who don't identify as LGBT.
Wonderful. As I just mentioned, this interview is also to raise the awareness among the public for your organization. So in order to let the public know your organization better, would you say something about your company's website? Do you have a website right now?
Yes, we do. It's www.queenspridehouse.org. And on our website, we'll give you a myriad of information from our groups, how to get in contact, the staff and the board listings, so if you're interested in volunteering, how to directly get in contact with Luz, and things like that. So it also has our calendar on there. It tells you what events are coming up, has news articles, things like that.
So, Mr. Peters, thank you. Well, you know, the summertime is coming. So, could you please say something about your forecast about the new activities in the coming August and July and August?
In the coming months, we are going to be holding, we do dances here, and the request was we wanted to do an old-fashioned disco type dance, so from the 70s and early 80s, and so we're gearing up for that. We don't have the exact date yet, but if everybody goes to the website, they'll see it. We also are planning for our very first black tie annual gala. We'll be honoring people who have helped the agency through the years, and we also, not too much activity in July and August because we really do get overwhelmed in June for Gay Pride Month, and so we have like 8 events in June. So that'll be a little rest. But the dance will be fun, and we can let our hair down, or actually we're wearing afros, so we'll be letting our hair up.
I actually have another question, which really intrigued me. Since the Manhattan, the city of New York, has already set up a LGBT center in the city, I would like to know why you think that there's some of the reason for you to set up your Queens Pride House, despite the fact that there's already a LGBT center in Manhattan.
Well, the center in Manhattan is a wonderful organization, but they really only address the needs of the LGBT community in Manhattan. They don't address the needs in the outer boroughs, and that's why every other borough also has their own center. Bronx, Staten Island, Brooklyn, and Queens, of course. No one knows your community better than those who are from the community here. So how things are done and how you would address needs in Manhattan are totally different than how you would address those needs here in Queens. So we do collaborate on different issues and whatnot and programs with them on at different times, but every borough has their own center, and honestly, the LGBT community here in Queens really doesn't want to go into Manhattan to get services, and the same thing with Staten Island, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. So that's really why it was one of the reasons to do this, is so we can address the particular needs of the LGBT community in Queens.
Well, thank you very much. It's such an honor for us to visit your organizations, and we wish you all the success.
I thank you very much.
Thank you. My great pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
There's something about you, baby. I can't get enough. There's something about you, baby. I got you looking at me, I'm gonna call you bluff. There's something about you.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Have you been a dad today?
Down to the morning light.
You know, I've been doing volunteer work for our community for a lot of years. I'm going to say 25 to 30 years. People come and go. It's just difficult today to get volunteers. But when I think back of people that do things, I thought of one person, Beverly Boyarsky. Beverly's been around our community for a number of years, and she volunteered for different organizations, but I'm going to let her speak. Beverly, welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you.
So anyway, that's the conversation, volunteering, getting people involved. How did you start?
It was a very long time ago. I came to Long Island about 21 years ago, and the first event that I remember was Hands Across Long Island. It was on Route 110 in Melville.
Okay.
And I remember that we were just going to try to make it, I guess, public awareness about gays and lesbians on Long Island. It was nothing more specific than that. And there had to be about 100 of us that were holding signs, and it was just about equality for gays and lesbians on Long Island, and we just held hands. And News 12 was the first I think they were just first around that time.
Yeah,
and they
definitely.
came to the event, and I was interviewed. That was my first taste of Long Island media. And people were honking horns, and they seemed very positive. So it's sort of been uphill since then. The Long Island community was very welcoming to me. I was a musician first. I did a lot of performing in a lot of the lesbian bars back in the day at the Silver Lining on Cherry Lane.
I love that place. I miss that place.
It was great. That's also, I've had some ups and downs. I was also fired from my first Long Island job because I was playing at the Silver Lining.
Oh,
my picture appeared in Zaffo's Isle, which was a newspaper that was out way back when, and I was approached by one of my supervisors and asked me, are you performing at a bar this weekend? And I wasn't out yet at that job. And I said, yeah. Is the bar on Cherry Lane? So that was it for me. I said, yes, I'm a woman and I perform for women. That's okay, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, it's fine. And a few days later, I had a pink slip. And back then, we didn't have any laws protecting us.
Exactly.
And I really questioned why I was fired. And HR called me in and said, I want you to know the truth. But they refused to back me up if I wanted to go to court over it because they would lose their job. So I just walked away. And it was a very large organization here, which I want to remain nameless at this point. But that was my taste of Long Island to begin with. But I've stayed in the community volunteering. I thought it was very important to volunteer.
Yes.
I was asked to be on the board of Community House of Long Island, which was back in Deer Park.
I remember that.
We did as much as we could for the community back then. We introduced a lot of things for the transgender community back then.
Mm-hmm.
We welcomed them. They used to hold their meetings. I was the vice president and media relations director. We had some pretty positive media coverage with that.
No, you did. I remember. And I remember you from that. And I thought you were so brilliant on that board.
I've done a lot of music for the community. I know some of my music plays on your station, and it's been for years, which is really nice. Yes.
And like I asked you a few minutes ago, can you please do a piece for us on Rainbow
I would be
Stage?
honored to. I would be honored to do that.
I'd love that. Can't wait. Look forward to it.
And I've been involved in Legally and the Center for a number of years, and whatever capacity they need me to do it. Anti-Ms. Now I work with Pride Alliance of Long Island as well. Whatever they need me to do, I've offered to just be someone that they could come to for connection. Just because it's important to stay active. Unfortunately, I became very ill about 7 years ago and had to leave my job.
Okay.
And I've been disabled since then. Did public relations for 25 years, so I felt that was my thing, that I would help my community with that. And since I've just received my doctorate, I'm just opening up a hypnosis practice. I'm also an ordained minister. So in that capacity, I'm doing things with the community as well. Now that marriage equality has passed, I've been asked to do a mass same-sex wedding for the community in conjunction with Carlisle on the Green at the end of July.
Very good.
So I'm still keeping my hand in things, maybe not as much as I'd like to, but I drive my car every year in the parade for whatever organization needs me to, and I try to mentor as many kids as I can as well.
Very good. We'll be right back.
Very good.
It was sad. It was like...
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
So Beverly, I heard you were in Newsday. Everybody was telling me about it, but I have to go check it out. So tell me about the story.
Yes, after marriage equality was passed, Newsday did a story on my family and how we're out and proud, and it was exciting because my son just graduated high school, and the next day, on Monday, it was in the paper. So they did a photo of the three of us and did a whole story about how Sal and I met and how long we've been together and how about our son, and it was very exciting.
How do we get the youth involved? I mean, what can we do? How can we encourage it? I mean, can you stress how important it is? Or?
Well, the youth today have it a lot easier than we did.
Yeah, we certainly do.
It took me a long time to be able to come out even, because you were afraid of what the consequences were going to be. I went to college to be a teacher, and God forbid I came out as you know, as gay, as to be a teacher. And
what was your age bracket when you came out?
I was 28. I knew I was gay since I was 5, but I played the part of the straight woman. I even was a phys ed major and played the straight woman.
Really?
I could have had the time of my life, but I knew better back then. So when I finally met someone who meant something to me, I could no longer deal with that pain I was feeling or that sickness every day, and came out to my family when I was 28. And I never looked back.
It's funny because I grew up in Londonhurst. I moved into Manhattan at 17. You know, I went to school there. I had my first relationship because I felt like I couldn't be gay on Long Island. There was no legally back then. There was anything like that. And unfortunately, I have a very homophobic family. Like, I haven't spoke to my family in like 30 years because they really condemn my lifestyle. But I feel bad because I missed, I mean, I would have loved to have been out in Long Island at that age bracket. You know, I mean, I moved back to Long Island, I think I was like 28, 29. You know, and I was very out and I got very involved. But, you know, they're so fortunate, the gay youth today, that they have places like Legally or Work for Youth, those programs to go to.
Well, I was at Legally when the vote was counted, and there were very few adults there. It was mostly kids, and they were excited. But it was us older folk who really were full of emotion. And a lot of reporters were asking us questions that evening, and I said, this is for them. This is all for them. A lot of them don't understand what we had to struggle through over the years to get to where we are today, and things are being handed to them now. But it shouldn't stop here. We have a long way to go. So the community, the kids for today, need to step up and take over as we are aging, so that it continues for the next generation.
Exactly.
It's not just about us and them. It's for their children and their children's children as well.
Exactly. It's like, what's next? Like, I love to retire from this, and I want this to continue. And I'm sure my board wants to continue, but we need to get other people involved, and we need our youth involved. So Beverly, I thank you so much for coming here today.
It was a pleasure.
And you know, I really enjoyed interviewing you and seeing you again. I really haven't seen or spoke to you in a number of years, and I apologize for that. And we'll see you again. We'll see you at Legally. We'll see you at some function, because I'm trying to push myself to get out more, so you'll see me.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
A fabulous show, kids. We got to meet Mitchell, our new Rainbow's Edge volunteer. We had fabulous segments. We had a wonderful Pride segment, and it's just been, all in all, one of the best shows I feel that we've done to date. Stay tuned, because this will be on for a couple of months. What we forgot to even tell you about what's in this show. Jim Pizzo and Mike Coffey, cameraman extraordinaire, got to go to Queens Theater in the Park when Bruce Valanche performed, and they got an exclusive Rainbow's Edge interview, and that was on the show. And Bruce and his mom and the Bev Leslies, they're fabulous, fabulous, fabulous interviewees. Now, next show, it promises to be even better than this. We're going out to film. Priscilla's hosting the Lavender Carpet again for the 2011 Drag Invasion at Cherry Grove. Oh my God, on July 4th. Coupled with, at the end of June, Mike is going out to film the Cherry Grove Pride Parade. So that'll be on the next show. And stay tuned, because we're going to have so much more. If you'd like to volunteer, like Mitchell is doing, go to our website, wayoutmedia.org, click on the volunteer application. You can volunteer for Rainbow's Edge or for our sister TV show, the Long Island Rainbow Connection. Either way, we'd love to see you, love to have you. And again, kisses. We love you all. Have a good one.
Hi, I'm Marie Mae Bonji from Rainbow's Edge TV. We hope you enjoyed our show. If you'd like to become a volunteer member of the Rainbow's Edge team, please visit us at www.wayoutmedia.org and click the Volunteers Needed link. We look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, happy Pride.